Today, I bring you great news. The Igbo worldview is a complete system of law, science, power, order, democracy, and resistance built on a deep knowledge of God and nature, which the Igbo ancestors warned Igbo never to forsake and never to exchange for the worldview of the Europeans. I bring you Professor Osuagwu, who, before he went to America to study, received this warning directly from his father, Dibia, world car for Osuagwu. If you are an Igbo child, stop whatever you are doing now and listen to this warning from the mouth of a 79-year-old witness, Professor Osuagwu, as he shares his exceptional experience.
As I went to America in 1971, my father said to me, Dede, I say Gala Beke, I'm here Beke, Saiga Patoa. I'm sending you to the white man country to pick the knowledge he has, not to import their worldview. Our worldview and theirs are different.
Fantastic.
My father wanted to die. He wrote to me to come back. He wasn't sick. 1 month later, I was dead. And I knew I wasn't going back to America.
That's how you came back?
Yes. So once I got to America, it was the first thing that hit me, that the worldview was different. But it took me even 24 years after I came back to decode it and know exactly what the difference is.
Tell me, what is the fundamental difference, like your father said to you, between our own life worldview, our own lifestyle, and
foreigner? Igbo is the oldest continuous civilization and the most sophisticated.
Wow.
It is. Many people don't know where it originated.
Americans are part of the West Eurasian worldview. West Eurasia, from India, northern India, to Europe, they have the same worldview. But the best way to start and understand it is what a scholar called Lucius Apleus had written in the 2nd century AD. He was a Roman North African.
Okay. And
he had traveled all around the world as a scholar and compared their knowledge system. And then he wrote a book called The Golden Ass. The Golden Ass is the only novel that came out of Judeo-Roman culture intact. And what he had said in that book is that of all the peoples in the world, that other peoples, Asians, Europeans, had notions of nature, but that the only people that understood nature, had proper names for nature, had proper liturgies, understood nature's laws and lived by it, were the Africans. And what that means is that the Africans live by natural laws. We are natively scientific.
Okay.
And the Igbo people drove that to the limits. What you can see that the Igbos, we know about Chukwu Abiyama, isn't it?
Yes.
We know about Iwu Chukwu, the laws of Chukwu.
Yes.
But we don't live by it on an everyday basis.
Okay.
We live by Iwu Ala. And who is Ala? Ala is named Chukwu.
Okay.
Allah is manifest aspect of Chukwu.
Okay.
Not of Chukwu, but the manifest aspect.
Okay.
You can see.
The one you can see and touch.
Yes. And from what this Allah does, you look at Allah and look at Omeje Allah, repeating patterns in nature.
Okay. Wow.
You abstract it and call it Iwu Ala.
Okay. So Iwu Ala are those patterns in nature that repeat, that are constant.
Yes. Now, the model, the trend that tends to happen, but those of it that tend to deviate are now called Oruala.
Okay, those ones that are not regular.
Yes.
That take you away from the constants.
Twinning, for instance.
Okay.
Having one child at a time, singleted, well, Omeje that's accepted. It's modal.
Okay. It's constant. It's predictable.
Constant. But having twins and triplets is Oruala. It's a violation of
the
clipped.
Okay, look, let me understand it very well. Those things that are regular, constant,
and
repeating.
Omenala for sure.
Omenala, okay? The ones that deviate, go away from the repetitive and well-established order.
Warala.
Aru. Wow.
So, you don't want confusion of laws. That's why the Igbo will intervene. Yeah.
You see, up away from
the
wow. Wow.
If you don't intervene to clip, to delete those errors, and it repeats further enough, then it becomes the law. Or you don't know which is the law.
No, again, it's like you confuse the order of things.
You see, that is called statistical dynamics. That is a higher order of making laws, which is what science does now. But Europe arrived at it in the last century. But it's elementary to the African system of law, because it was from the beginning naturalistic.
Wow.
So you now see that by the time the Europeans are here and started promoting Aro, they were confusing the world, trying to destroy fundamental natural laws that are more ancient and more coherent and better organized.
Now, listen very clearly to this very important part of the conversation. Professor Osuagwu teaches that from the beginning, Omenala Igbo was never based on superstition or habits. Omenala Igbo was truth built on the eternal principles of order, that which repeats in nature, whatever sustains balance, whatever protects life, and the firm knowledge that whatever creates disorder must be rejected before disorder becomes normal.
But of course, from their worldview, they didn't see what we see or what we are seeing, what our ancestor was. But ancestors said no. But it is when they say Dibia, the white man knew that the Dibia knew, and they tried to co-opt them, they wouldn't.
They refused,
But there was no way of communicating these things across the world. But the difference now you see is that Igbo laws, what Igbo adopted as Iwu Oha, Iwu Mmadu, is abstraction from Iwu Ala.
Yeah.
So the juridical system is based on Iwu Chukwu mirroring Iwu Ala, which mirrors Iwu Oha.
Wow.
But in their own, they have individuals who can get a notion or something, say what needs to be done. If you say he will draw his weapon and fight it out, if he kills you, his idea becomes the law.
Wow.
So you see, the difference is so fundamental that there is no way of compromise. I was telling people at Nsukka last week when we had a conference, there were some Europeans who came and were talking democracy and so. I said the Europeans know nothing about democracy. And it's not to mock them or something, it's to make a statement of scientific facts. Because as a student at Youngstown State University in the 1970s, where I did my master's, I became president of African Students Association. Students from Caribbean, Brazil were members. But I gave a condition for accepting it. I said we had to take decision based on African consensual system. If not, I'll not take it. The kind of contentious governance that one man does. He does it because he doesn't know what to do. He even thinks it's democracy, but he has no way of knowing what democracy is. Because the way you organize a system depends on your understanding of that system. Their conception of humanity, the best they have done is the Catholic Church called communal. You know, those who are members of the communion. Christians, where they are brought to Igboland. You know, that's a cabal. There's nothing they have that applies to Oha.
To everybody, yeah.
No, they don't.
It's a small circle.
They don't have a conception of humanity, like the human being as a Mmadu. Once you consider the human being as a Mmadu, it's ontological, it's fundamental. There is a way you cannot treat Mmadu. If you say, so you So the idea of Mmadu and Mmadu, you know.
Mmadu, that is the beauty of life.
The crown of creation.
Wow.
And a steward of biosphere.
This section brings the eternal truth of the relationship between order and disorder into practical governance. Democracy is not just voting, noise, parties, or winning an argument. Democracy grows from a people's idea of human person, their idea of community, and their method of consulting and reaching agreement.
They don't have a way of knowing it. It's not their fault. It's what they came, that's their word. They have been Caesar, Julius Caesar. You read Julius Caesar in the book and so. He was a bandit. He went to God, now France, on his Gallic wars. He wrote about. He met 3 million people, killed 1 million, enslaved 1 million, And that's a Caesar. He came back triumphant. Then he got away. He wants to be emperor. And Brutus said, but we have a constitution. We want to make one man rule. And they decide to kill him. Of course, the Igbo would understand Brutus. But you see Shakespeare, a monarchist in England, will say he betrayed his friend. But he betrayed the republic. He wanted to be, instead of Ikoha, he wanted to make Ikotunye. And Brutus and the Russians said, no, you better die. And that's what the Igbo do. That's part of the quarrel we are having with the British, the Igbo people and America.
Yes.
They will want us to
continue to live with Ikotunye.
Instead of Ikoha, which Brutus was defending.
Wow.
So the issue of worldview is so fundamental and is so distant. These people, in the Middle East, killing themselves, they can't help themselves, but they are spreading the evil around the world. And they even want you to say God created that evil. God tell them, He give you this person a receipt for the land 3,000 years ago. Give this person a certificate of occupancy 3,000 years ago. And they tell you, can't you see God gave us receipt for the land?
Yeah.
What kind of God will give you receipt for land that is
not your
So they don't see it, because it's equal to it. They are laws made by individual. And that's what Apleus was pointing out. You can't live in a world based on equal to some malignant narcissists that lead them. And they spread it in the world. And they think it's clever. It's not clever. That's what the Igbo is fighting. And when you come to Africa, you find those in Nigeria who have had influence with the Middle East and who will align with them, the Fulani, the Afonje Yoruba, and so on. And they want to play big civilization because they don't know what they're saying and doing. They're just creating confusion. So this is the problem. This is the problem Igbo have with the world. Wow. We have the most scientific and articulated civilization. We do.
Wow, fantastic. Explain to me the concept of Ndoro teaching.
Oh, well, yes. You see, when our people,
yes,
they now came here, because in America, I said African students came and we articulated what we call Ananse. Ananse is the Ghanaian fancy word for spider. Which we design things as the design behind you.
Yes.
A spider web, a network.
Yes,
the
network of things.
Ubuntu system. But when the white man came, their own, what they call democracy, actually started from you understand it with the Roman Colosseum.
Yes, the Colosseum.
Where you go, the person that kills the other wins. He's the right person. Later, they improved it and made it dueling, Get their sword, if you kill the other.
Then you're correct.
You use the med peso. If you make the peso, you shoot yourself, the person that kills himself, the other person wins. That's how they've been improving. They don't know what they're doing. You now find out for the first time in Haiti, when the Africans decided to confront them on African terms, that's the Haitian Revolution, based on African worldview. And they sat down and analyzed each of the African civilizations. I recorded what like I talked of Iwu Ala, and they call laws, each person's law,
Yeah.
When they saw this thing, they found out that the most representative of all was the Igbo system. And they made a resolution that for the purpose of this resolution, one, we are going to adopt the spirit of the Igbo people, Grand Igbo, the great Igbo spirit. Yeah. I mentioned that's nature, modern nature. Yes. And what does modern nature give them? It gives them what they call panyin kuvri panyin, basket upon basket. That's what I call network.
Okay.
Scaling, very sophisticated mathematical system, scaling modular system like Igbo system in the Swama heartland is organized. That's how Obo is organized, for instance. They adopted that. The great Igbo spirit are the guardian spirit of all. They now moved the resolution that for the purpose of African liberation, Muso Igbo. Every African is Igbo. The white man knows it, Nigerians don't know it. What they'd rather do is to join to suppress the Igbo, not knowing they are putting each other down. Instead of finding out what makes the Igbo tick, what does the white man fear the Igbo?
The ultimate political enlightenment in this conversation is that power in Igboland was never meant to belong to one man. Power had to answer to Chukwu, to Allah, and to Oha, the people. So when the people's power, Iko Oha, is replaced by one man's power, Iko Tuonye, leadership becomes domination. And domination is disorder. Omenala Igbo rejects it before it becomes normal. This is the Igbo way.
Now, they now use that framework, and the Haitians from 1791 August, when they made that resolution, to 1803 November, they defeated the Spanish Empire, defeated the British Empire, defeated Napoleonic French Empire, and declared their independence.
Wow.
When people see Haitians today, they say, okay, they have independence, they are poor. But they organized the bankers in Europe and so on, went and sat on the French king to put the equivalent of 200 billion indemnity on them to pay for themselves. They had liberated. That if not, the whole of Europe agreed to fight them except Russia. That's why Haiti is poor now. They kept paying that thing until 1940. And when they got tired of paying, 1915, American Marines, Monroe sent Marines to go and seize Haitian Central Bank.
Wow.
And since yes, looted Haiti and so on. That's why Haiti is the way it is. But they say it's black people. Can't see, they got independence. They are this. What do you see? So the Haitians defeated them based on the Igbo framework. But do you know who is studying the Igbo framework now? Trump's policy toward the black race is based on that framework.
Wow.
A guy called Kevin Roberts, who is presently the president of the Heritage Foundation in America, did his master's degree on slave resistance in Virginia and other parts of the world where the Igbo are dominant, and identified that it is the Igbo framework, just like the Haitians did. He must have found what the Haitian found that guided the Africans to resistance. Then he expanded it and did his PhD and included Haiti and New Orleans, wherever there was slavery, and said this Igbo, it is their framework. Just the Haitians had discovered that 200 years earlier. So yes. But he now articulated it. And the basis of it, he wrote a document called Project 2025, which is where Trump is basing his anti-Haiti, anti-black, anti-American, anti-racist policy, imperialist policy against the black race.
Professor Osuagwu opens up to us the global dimension of this conversation. He insists that the Igbo system did not remain only in Igboland. Slavery exported it all over the world until it took roots as African resistance in Haiti and across wider black resistance in America and the world. This is no longer a cultural discussion. It is historical, political, and civilizational.
So you see, it is the Igbo system. And interestingly, Kevin Roberts found out that an anchor of that system is the black woman. You see, in Igboland now, when it got to 1929, when the men get the women rose, isn't it?
Yes.
Can they do that now? No, Christian mother. They will make a Christian mother, Virgin Mary. That's where we are lost. If you ask them, they say, elders, why don't you speak up? For the Igbo system,
it is the women.
When the women say no, that the world crashes.
Wow.
So this is what is said.
And it's hemmed in the Umuada.
The eternal citizens.
Yes. Eternal citizens.
Yes. Yes.
They are the people you are sure are the citizens.
They are eternal citizens.
Develop that a bit.
Yes. Like myself, now if you come to my own monarchy or for today, I say a relationship I have. It is very powerful women. My father's mother, my grandfather's mother, my father's mother, and my own mother. They are very powerful women, very, very powerful women. And the key difference is having more land than our neighbors on the ground today. It's those women, not the men.
Wow.
You see, the white man came deliberately. He knew that. He found out there and brought Ozuzu, what you call Ozuzu, for our women, to denature them, make them ladies. When I was small,
make them subservient.
I went to school, and I found out that the headmaster's wife was called Madame. When that headmaster left, another headmaster came, and they called the wife Madame. And I wondered, all these headmasters, their wives are Madame. Oh, somebody pointed out that Madame is just a married woman. I said, it's my mother, Madame. They said my mother was Madame. So you see, the white man came to make our people women Madame.
They dethroned our women.
They dethroned them. I've been campaigning any electoral system that works will be based on African binary system. There will be one man, one woman from each constituency. Wow. Until you get there, there's no democracy. It's nonsense.
Wow.
And it will not be based on Drondro Chichi. Immediately you create the idea of party. You have turned the society ab initio, and you cannot be talking of Oha. Oha means the all-inclusive.
Yes.
That's the society.
Yes.
Then you create a system that tears them apart. we are going to imitate those whose fathers couldn't create society to start with.
Wow.
Because the party system in Europe represents class interests. Those whose fathers have used the violence, the scissors, to conquer and seize their land and become nobles. And those who become common disposable people. This party represents the nobles, the property of these people. And we are bringing it here. And that's why we have, for the past few years, people who look like they are coming from mortuary each morning to rule Nigeria. The white man has no system. He doesn't have the worldview to have a democracy. But he doesn't know it. But it is when we now go and join him in that Hebraism, that is the problem.
Wow.
But it's not the problem of Ofeke. 99% of the people who know nothing. It is the problem of Dibia. Those who should know that are going to take high office and make the toko. Behave like that is the problem.
So it is the Dibia not doing his job.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Where the problem is.
This conversation is deep, honest, and necessary. Professor Osuagwu is asking Ndi Igbo to stop treating the sacred Omenala as an empty tradition. Omenala, Iwu Ala, Iwu Oha, Ala, Chukwu, Dibia, and Iwu Oha carry meanings that touch law, nature, leadership, community, and civilization. The task before Ndi Igbo is not only to preserve Omenala, it is to remember it, its meaning, explain it to our children, and use it to rebuild our society. Now, go to the comment section and tell us what you think Ndi Igbo must begin to do with Omenala, Iwu Ala, Iwu Oha, Dibia knowledge, and the true people-centered leadership. Now, share the video with anyone who cares about Igbo civilization. And remember to subscribe to Ndi Igbo Viva for more honest conversation on Igbo history, identity, worldview, and the future of Ala Igbo. Share the video, make your comments, and like what we're doing. It will be a wonderful way to support our work.